I'm like that.
They're not going to stop talking about women's basketball, so I'm going to force them to start talking about football, as DG asked in the group chat earlier today, guys. Okay, we're just going to start here.
Yeah.
We even intro.
I know.
Oh.
What it mean to be the best? Riding foes, feeling unimpressed. Make me reminisce, throwing bows, been in the corner, set my mind up on the goal. All I know is stay down, bad, I'm the goal. Okay, feel like the best, the great. Now they ain't no debate. Yeah. Okay, feel like the best, the great. Now they ain't no debate. Yeah. I ain't gotta say much. Know the boy got a touch. Another win for the rush. Another win for the rush. See me once and got a crush. See you twice and that's enough. Get the ring sized up.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Tell the Truth. We are on episode 69, which is definitely nice to see.
Hey
yo, no Diddy, no Drewski. We not a problem.
No Drewski's nuts.
Hashtag no Drewski, baby.
No Drewski. Insanity. DG, CJ, how y'all doing?
Me and DG don't even know us.
Yeah, bro. We doing good, man. If y'all would hear some of our backstage conversations.
Boy, we recorded this. We be going viral, bro. I swear, bro.
That's the real podcast.
Oh God.
Doing good, man. Glad to be here with everybody on this lovely, cold, changing Wednesday that we have here in Kansas City. The weather in Kansas City is ass,
bro. So bipolar.
This weather. But yeah, man, we here talk Chiefs. You know, moves have been made, people have been signed, cap space has been spent. So ready to dive into it.
Hey man, this time last year we were obviously trying to go achieve the ultimate goal and trying to make history, and now a year later we've put ourselves in position, did everything we could even ask for to even be in that game, which is history in itself, and now we have a chance to make some moves, try to make ourselves better. The real work begins, and y'all know my slogan, the work always comes first, and we're at this point now, and we are officially 8 years into Patrick Mahomes' career? Well, the one without starting his rookie year, so 9 now. So to be at this point, like I said, we've been to this many Super Bowls, put ourselves in position to win this much. Now we have a chance to revamp our roster, restart over, and retool and regroup. Hey, I couldn't ask for more, man. We got a lot of work to do, but I'm excited to get back and get to the grind for sure.
Absolutely. So part of that grind obviously involves kind of getting into the second and third waves of free agency. And, this is the time in which you try and look for some values of guys that have been passed over. And we've seen 2 guys come back to the Chiefs that were on the team last year and a guy get introduced for the first time. So we'll start with the new guy. One Mr. Jerry Tillery has been signed to Kansas City. A 1-year deal. Certainly on the lesser side. And I think we're all, kind of pretty happy to say that he is going to be able to come over and be an addition to this defensive line. I think that Minnesota obviously used him last year in their more amoeba type of front defense that Brian Flores likes to run. And, he was an odd front defensive end, kicked inside occasionally, as well as really, being able to be a pseudo 3 tech at times. And truthfully, how I kind of look at him is that he's going to be able to give you those rotational pass rush snaps from the inside, and then he can give you some early down snaps from the outside if you so choose. So it'd be interesting to see how he's deployed. But how did you guys feel when you saw Jerry Tillery was going to be an addition to Kansas City?
He kind of made his run away the whole division, huh? Was drafted by the Chargers, played for the Raiders, Minnesota, now us. So he's kind of made his run away to one more team left. So he didn't make his run around the whole division. But no, like DMac said, he's a rotational guy. If you remember him, his days in Notre Dame, was a speed rusher from the 3 tech. Obviously, he's a guy that's been in multiple different systems. He's played in some 3 down, some 4 down fronts. Definitely a guy that can produce. I think he's had 12 and a half sacks over his career, so he's produced in moments when you need him to. Definitely a rotational guy who can play inside out. We always price versatility as far as guys in our group, especially for D linemen. Would love to see us bring back another guy like Charles to add on to this. That would make the D line offseason even better for me. But overall, I think Jerry fits our system. from our pass rush standpoint, we want guys to have a little juice. He kind of is going to replace a little bit of that Turk role. I think Turk was better against the run, in my personal opinion. But overall, as far as having that juice and that speed and a guy that can play inside out, I think that's definitely a much needed position of need for us for sure.
Yeah, definitely a rotational piece. A guy I feel like that can come in and kind of alleviate some of those snaps from Chris Jones at points in times playing that 3 tech in the middle. Um, just a guy that can give you a little bit of juice from the pass rush side of things. Feel like the kind of in the Turk kind of role or whatever. Definitely a signing that I kind of first saw the Veach kind of going after. He fits that age range that Veach likes to kind of give contracts to guys like him. And I just think he's gonna come in and be a fit. We'll see what he'll be able to do. I don't have super lofty expectations of him. Just come in and do your job, and hopefully at the end of the year we'll be in Levi Jean Stadium getting you a ring, brother.
Yeah, I'd say. Um,
Levi jeans.
uh, Jesus. It's a 1-year deal. The money has not been reported yet. Obviously, we expect it to be kind of in the like $5 million range of some sort. Obviously, just ballparking it. But like you guys said, not necessarily somebody that you're going to expect to be a starting defensive tackle, not somebody that you expect to play all 3 downs. But again, gives you that rotational pass rush juice from the inside, which I think is important. I think it was pretty solid as far as the run defense on the outside was concerned. Not necessarily something that you want to have him on the inside on a consistent basis. He's kind of more of he is a defensive tackle leaning version of Mike Dana in what I would look at it from that standpoint. And I think in a defensive line rotation, that makes a lot of sense. And we'll get into what we'd like to see added to that room in general, but definitely like what you saw from Jerry Tillery at times in the Vikings, a little bit more of a flash type of player, but somebody that I think that Spagnuolo and this defense can put in a more consistent position to be effective. I'm not expecting a Charles Omenihu type of impact, certainly not expecting a Tershawn Wharton type of impact that he had last year, but still part of what a defensive line rotation can look like, that veteran presence that Tillery can bring, I think is certainly useful that we ended up bringing in from that standpoint. So that's Jerry Tillery. Obviously, they were able to sign him back to the defensive line room, or they were able to sign him to the defensive line room from Minnesota. We did have 2 guys come back, Mr. Juju Smith-Schuster and Kareem Hunt himself. So I guess I'll ask this question. And did either of these signings surprise you? And then the fact that these 2 guys are here, does it change any aspect in which you see the needs as far as the wide receiver or running back room kind of going into the draft?
No and no.
No and no.
No, it didn't surprise me at all. Kind of had a feeling that both of these guys could be back. Juju specifically being back, just with everything that's been going on with the receiving room. Feel like they trust him. And he's capable of coming in and doing his job. Kareem in the same light too.
And big moment. Sure.
Kind of showing you last year that he can be trusted in doing his jobs, being that short yardage back for them. Kind of gives them now that veteran presence that they need in that room as well for some of the younger guys if they choose to bring some in and also be a red zone threat for them. Once they get down there. Kareem just has a knack and ability to find space where there isn't space at points in times. And that kind of really helps them, helps this offense move the chain. It's Juju being that guy that kind of has that same chemistry with Patrick Mahomes, knows where to sit in zone, still is capable of running, decent routes. Points in times may not always be the healthiest player in the world, but you at least know you can get a good 12, 13 games out of Juju, and he'll step in and do his job. Him being, I think, in a role where he can be receiver 4 if, barring nobody gets suspended or injuries don't come again as well. But also being able to step up at points in times and be, kind of a serviceable receiver too as well. But him being able to be receiver 4 and playing that role that Justin Watson kind of left here, I think is a lot to me, in my opinion. It's it's a lot better option than you having, a Justin Watson there. Might not have the speed and the deep threat like Justin Watson brought to this team, but knows his place, knows where he needs to be. Patrick Mahomes trusts him, and can be a dynamic piece for them at points in times.
For sure. No, I think the Juju one was obvious. We all said that from the jump. Between him and D-Hop, we all knew Juju would be the one preferably to come back. And I think his value was shown when he obviously sat out for a month, came back in the Buffalo game, had 70 yards just like that out the gate. So the chemistry with Pat is obviously well known. The route running, the knowledge of this offense, I think he picked it up a lot faster than D-Hop. Obviously, D-Hop came in the middle of the season, so we would have loved to see him get a full offseason with Pat to see what he could do. But I think Juju's presence is something you really can't value in a stat sheet. You're not going to see it, but knowing this offense, knowing where to be, and knowing how to have a chemistry with Pat, even without playing for a month, that's something that's invaluable, especially when you need it at the end of the season. And God forbid anything happens to any player, but DG's right. You need guys like that who can step in at any moment and come in and make a play for you, even without being involved in the offense. Kind of like a 9th, 10th man off the bench for basketball comparisons. He ain't played in a week, but you need to come in and make a shot. That's what Juju can do for you. So obviously having a guy like that is invaluable, and you need that when you're going to, especially a team that's like us, playing deep playoff runs. We're playing into January, February every year. You need guys like that who are going to be pros and be professionals and going to produce when their numbers called. As far as Kareem, y'all know how I feel about him. He carried our offense for a month. He was a bell cow. Like I said, nobody had more touches than him in the month of October. He was easily the most worked running back in the NFL during that span. He earned the right to come back. He carried us for a long period of time, and he was our short yardage back for a reason. And eventually, towards the end of the season, we knew who our RB1 was, and it was Kareem. So I'm glad to see him back for sure. I know he never wanted to leave, especially after his journey, what he's been through. Being able to see him be in a Kansas City uniform for 2 years in a row is something I never thought I'd see again. So the fact that we're here now, I'm beyond thankful, and I'm definitely excited. And I know Travis Kelce backed him as well and probably had a little input of trying to get him back as well on the team. So definitely glad to see Kareem be back on the roster. As far as approach for the draft, nothing really changes. If you see any of the running backs that we like on our board and their board in the building and receivers that we like that fall to your lap, then you take them. I think we've kind of put ourselves in position, like we said last episode, to be at a best player available type of position. Obviously, we know our number one needs are anything D lineman force, so edge, D tackle guys, that's the number one need. But if a player that's a really good receiver prospect falls to you at 95 or we're at 66 and a guy falls, and hey, I'm not mad at him for taking the best player on the board. So I think we've put ourselves in position to where we're not hand-tied or handcuffed to where we have to take certain positions. We can kind of be more flexible when you bring guys like Kareem and Juju back, having that veteran leadership to where any rookie you bring in, you're not necessarily putting them in like a must-produce type of situation. That's why I'm super excited for Worthy's second year, because now he has so many veterans around him. On top of the fact he played some of these snaps and reps last year, he's going to boom on the scene even more so as a sophomore. So I don't think nothing changes for me. I think the players we had on our board that we've all prospect and all mocked, they're still up there, still available. We just got to wait to see how the board falls now. But yeah, nothing really changes for me, honestly. Most of these guys are on 1 year deals, so nobody you're really tying any seriously money to for sure.
All right. I personally don't think it changed anything as far as the draft, to your point that you guys pointed out. It's still things that are a little bit more on the secondary list of needs, given the fact that we're going to look at the trenches first and foremost. But from that standpoint, Juju was somebody that I said was a priority for me to bring back at the start of free agency. I got some pushback for it, but I'm glad that you see it the same way, where you get a guy that understands how to beat zone coverage, can do things in the middle of the field. You're going to be missing Rashee Rice, you assume, for some part of the first, portion of the season, and that will help out from that standpoint. He's a veteran guy in the room that helps out, from that standpoint as well. Good for vibes. And he's somebody that's been here and has the trust of Patrick Mahomes. And we've seen how important that really is. So it makes sense to bring him back as a wide receiver 4. It made too much sense to bring him back as a wide receiver 4. Secondarily, and again, the money, it's minimal. So that's a big thing, a part of it too, which is people are like, we should get D-Rob. D-Rob's going to get paid. We should get Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp got paid. So no, Juju makes a lot of sense for bringing back into this room as wide receiver 5 or wide receiver 4. Kareem Hunt, like you guys said, proved himself in short yardage situations on a consistent basis. I think that, I still think you go out and draft a running back at some point in the team in the draft. And if they get to St. Joe and it's a competition and they see that Kareem Hunt doesn't have enough, I understand why they may go away from Kareem Hunt. But we got to get there from that standpoint. And having him and Mitchell behind Pacheco allows you to go into the draft and not feel like running back is desperation from that standpoint. So it makes a lot of sense. Real quick, Omarion Hampton at 31 or Emeka Egbuka at 31.
Give me Egbuka.
We got 63. We got 63 after this.
Wait, what'd you say? Did you?
Yeah. I wouldn't take Omarion Hampton at 31. I just think that's all value in him.
He's so explosive, though. I feel like I could find a Mecca. Damn. We're not trading or anything. This just fell out the board.
No,
Phil. Is there anybody else available? These are the only two best players.
I'm just saying, pick between those two.
I think the better guy for us long term would be Omarion because we need an explosive running back, and he obviously has good vision. But Emeka would have a more immediate impact. Give me Omarion.
I would lean Egbuka only because of the way this draft kind of falls out. But I think it's an interesting question from that standpoint.
It's tough either way.
DG, does your answer change if it's Luther Burden instead of Emeka?
You saying that Burden or Hampton?
Yeah.
Burden for me. If it's I've always been Luther's the only receiver I'm cool with at 31.
Just asking. I think it's
I love him. He's just not. I don't like him that much. If it's Luther, I'm going Luther, no question, for sure.
It is interesting, and we're going to talk about this. We are getting closer to the month out mark from the draft, and we're going to talk about this, and we're going to have obviously positional breakdowns, things of that nature, etc. As far as the prospect, and obviously the fits to Kansas City coming up as we get closer and closer to the draft. But I think it's interesting as you've seen kind of some of these trends where, you know, a few weeks ago, it was like, all right, Genty's going to be the only first-round running back. And now you're hearing Omarion really put up there on a consistent basis as a first-round running back. And 2 weeks ago, it was, hey, or even you could say before the combine, I suppose. It was Cam Ward, Shadir Sanders. Those are going to be your quarterbacks in the first round. Then it's all of a sudden, hey, we're getting some Jackson Dart love. And Gerald Milroe just ran a 4.3 whatever at his pro day. So we're going to push those guys up, which would be great for Kansas City because obviously we don't need a quarterback. So it's interesting to see how these draft trends are going to continue to come on. But this is the time in which the media and guys get to poke around a little bit with some draft boards with the teams are finalizing, and they get to catch up to see really how the teams are grading these guys. And then you get to see a little bit more of where the trends things are falling out to figure out where exactly these guys are going to end up falling within the draft range is concerned. DG, you're shaking your head. Is there
Jalen Milroe getting first round love is
from who?
Nuts. No, it's been pushed to read. I'm just
any team.
DG, why are we talking about this? Lord.
We're gonna talk about this.
No, we're not.
We're talking about any team.
Lord God,
I'm telling you now, any team that is crazy enough. Jackson Dart, I understand,
and even that's a stretch.
Any team that's crazy enough to take Jalen Milroe after what they seen last year in him at Alabama is absolutely out of their mind.
Your GM's getting fired.
Yes.
You took a top 100 pick with Jalen Milroe. Lord God.
I don't
in this
care.
year, 2025.
Look, the boy could beat Usain Bolt.
Facts. He could have ran a 4.1. I don't care.
On a 100-meter dash.
I don't care.
I still would not take him.
That's a fact.
In the first round. That is wild if he is getting
who even
anywhere.
Said that?
Yeah, I don't.
It's Jesus. Well, I really haven't, honestly. I've seen him getting draft talks, obviously, but I have nothing seen first round and his name in the same sentence. I have not seen it.
He should get drafted. I'm not saying he shouldn't be drafted.
Absolutely.
He should get drafted.
For sure. Like, he can be in that Taysom role, special athlete, Justin Fields type of mold. You can use him in certain packages. But you don't spend not in the top
6th-round guy.
Yeah, okay, guy you take on day 3. Like
they're going to take him in day 2.
And I'm cool with that. I'm just not in my top 30. Like, no.
Yeah. Stephon Diggs has taken a visit to the New England Patriots that just came across.
Man, he going to Dallas.
Hey, Mo, whoever ever said that, please get them that.
Mo, block them, get them off your phone. Immediately, block them.
No, because we can't allow these type of people to just walk amongst us.
Lord God.
Please get them the help that they are crying out for.
Yeah. Anybody,
Mo, get away from them. We don't want you to get affected. Get away from them right now. Run.
Run
get
away.
out.
This gotta be Bama fans. There's no way.
Even if you're a Bama fan, why are you lying? Y'all hated Joe
Why are you lying?
Bro, they lost to Michigan.
And he looked terrible. He was terrible in that game.
Awful.
He was horrible. Horrible.
Michigan
horrible.
wasn't even good this year.
Bro, he literally, Jalen Milroe had 2 great games in Bama.
That Georgia game and
Georgia game,
LSU game last year? Yeah, last year.
And he literally, all he did was
the
QB option read and just took off.
That's it.
That's it. You know, okay. Georgia, I give him his props. He made a couple big throws to Ryan Williams.
And Ryan,
other than that,
he made me a lot of money, though. I appreciate Jalen Milroe. He made me some cash this year. So.
Shout out to ATDs. I tell you what, ain't that hard to throw the ball to Ryan Williams.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Jalen, you good with my book, baby. You made me some money.
Why are y'all giving that man first round love?
Yeah,
the Jackson Dart thing, I get. I totally understand. Even though I wouldn't take Jackson Dart in the first round.
Yeah.
But I understand it. You know,
exactly.
I do think that there's some potential and some juice there for Jackson Dart, especially for a team that he may fall to that say. I think if the Steelers were willing to take a chance again and trying to get a quarterback, I could see Jackson Dart thriving in Pittsburgh, especially with what they have.
Especially if it's somewhere where he could sit for sure.
Yeah, you know, or where the roster is already kind of well rounded. Yeah. But I wouldn't take Jackson Dart as a guy who I think could change the franchise. You know,
I think you are fooling yourself if you are thinking about trying to develop Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe. I think you're absolutely fooling yourself, to be honest with you.
Honestly, I'm not drafting either one. I'm not drafting either one of them. That's me, but hey, I can understand the Dart, but I'm not taking either one of them personally. Yeah. But at 31, are y'all doing Starks or Luther? That's tough. Because before the season, we never thought Luther would be at 31.
Chuck,
neither one of them we thought would be at 31, but even more so Luther. We thought he was a lock for like top 15 and stuff like that.
Chuck, explain what you mean by same thing. I missed it. No, I mean that's.
I'm cool either way with that one. I have no favoritism toward.
Yeah, I mean I'd be happy with the pick either way. It's just it's difficult. Like
definitely tough.
So the question that you would ask yourself if you're the Chiefs, you have a safety room that you feel like is in a good place and has young players that you feel confident in.
More flexible.
How confident you are in Shamari Connor in that safety room may be a question mark. If you're the wide receivers, you have 2 young wide receivers that you're confident in. Obviously, one you think might be pending a suspension, obviously come back from the ACL. And you have a third there that's on that 1-year deal. Starks probably is a better fit for the safety room than it is the wide receiver room. But the wide receiver room is obviously more valuable. So I mean that's dang near impossible to pick between 2 of them. I think it would probably depend on how it would come down to how do you feel about Shamari Connor as a safety. I think it would for me.
Honestly. I think obviously you put yourself in a position to have 2 rookie control receivers for the next 5 years. Because obviously you guys Xavier Worthy in the first, and then obviously you had Rasheed on day 2. So I wouldn't mind having Luther for the next 5 years, essentially, because he'd be a first-round pick with controllable assets. So anything that happened with Juju or Hollywood after this, you're fine because you got your 3 next year. You're rolling. We're past the Rasheed suspension, another year removed from the ACL. So our receiver, we could officially move on from the Travis Kelce-led offense. That'd be a perfect way to transition into 2026. At the same time, we know Trent McDuffie needs his money. Bringing in a guy like Starks gives you more flexibility at safety because now you can decide what do you want to do around the room because I know nobody wants to hear it, but there is a world where Trent McDuffie cannot be on the football team. I think he does get signed regardless, in my opinion. But this gives you more flexibility to where if we decide to move off of him, you have more safeties who can give you more flexibility in the middle of the field. And we know we've been really good at developing DBs. So there's just a lot of things in your mind you have to go over when you're in the mind of a GM. So if it's me, I'm probably picking Luther because I want to officially move on from the Kelce part of this offense and officially transition to 2026 and give Pat all the reason in the world to be motivated to go do what he needs to do. And I'm sure he's going to find some crazy way to get pissed off and say, you can't perform without Kelce. He's like, all right, watch this. So
I don't know. I'd probably take Luther, but that's an interesting conversation.
It'd be a tough call, though. Tough call.
Most people probably have Starks rated higher.
For sure. Yeah, he's definitely rated higher. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So that'd be difficult. Yes, Chuck. Definitely as far as Brady Cook getting in the ball, it's more difficult than we thought it would be, unfortunately. So I was making the Stephon Diggs news a point so that therefore I could transition into one of Stephon Diggs' sons, or I should say fathers, which is Trent McDuffie and his option. For those that missed it, Derek Stingley Jr. had a reported, and I do emphasize reported, contract extension, 3 years, $90 million, 89 of which was total guaranteed.
Couldn't give him the full 90, huh?
No, couldn't give him the full 90. And so obviously that sparked a lot of conversation as far as Trent McDuffie getting paid, which obviously I think we're all in favor of him doing so as far as the Chiefs are concerned. I had a tweet that, paying him $31 million a year would at least make it a discussion as far as trade was concerned, as far as playing out the string of his contract, something that the Chiefs have done with other players. The majority of players, really, they haven't extended too many guys early from that standpoint. Obviously, Mahomes is an exception, but he did obviously last year extend Creed Humphrey. From my perspective, actually, I will show this first, and then I'll be able to go into that as far as Trent McDuffie is concerned. But I did just want to show, because we did get the actual full details of Derek Stingley Jr.'s contract, and it's not what it was reported as, which it never is for that standpoint. What it really is around $23-ish million a year, because what they did is they took the initial money that they still had for this year, his rookie contract, then his fifth year, and put that as the next 2 years, and then put the $90 million kind of into that. So ultimately, a little bit of a raise for him this year, and then it's kind of spread out throughout the cap hit, not even close to $30 million a year. Certainly the actual, reported numbers as it was. So not necessarily that large a figure, and that's something that the Chiefs can certainly work off of as far as Trent McDuffie is concerned. And still get him at a price that I'd be more than willing to if you structure the contract in this similar of a way, but you just slightly top it in that.
48 guaranteed at sign is a good number. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. You have the total guarantees kind of kick in after that. So what it sounds like is that Trent McDuffie is something that it's going to be treated as after they necessarily work on Trey Smith, and obviously get past the draft and into the summer. As far as that's concerned, they did a similar thing again with Creed Humphreys being up there in St. Joe. So I would expect this to be a down the line conversation, but I just wanted to bring it up given that it was a news item. You guys have any Trent McDuffie extension talks other than obviously paying him?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's like I said on the timeline the other day, it's certain guys in this organization that break the rules. They break your expectations, and he's one of them. Mahomes, Kelsey, Jones, Humphrey,
McDuffie,
Smith, McDuffie. Those are in Bolton too. Those are guys that are ascending. I think Veach has shown that he's willing to pay a second contract to ascending players, especially when they've already shown that there can be all pros and Pro Bowls and high caliber players. That's why I say I think this to me, in my opinion, this deal gets done probably closer to training camp or in training camp for sure. I don't think it's something that's on their books or on their list of priorities, high on their list of priorities right now. I know people freaked out about the Derek Stingley Jr. deal or whatever, which I thought he was well deserving of. But it also goes back to I tell people all the time, you gotta wait to see how these contracts are structured, because when the reporters report it, or they're just gonna tell you what the details of what the team is gonna tell them.
They're not even the team. They're gonna tell you what the agent wants to be put out there.
What the agent wants to be put out there,
and they'll make sure the agent is in there. Sometimes even twice if there's two people and they call themselves brothers. They'll just make sure that
That's
exactly
Andy and
our name. Cats bros.
We're bros.
Yeah,
they really put them at the front and the back of the tweet. Like we were just going to not understand who it was.
They need more clients, brother. They said, "Look at us."
They got the
Look
D-Rock
at
money. They
us.
gonna be
4
all right.
eyes is better than 2.
Right?
Absolutely
Yeah.
nobody.
We got Chris
Absolutely
Jones
nobody.
paid.
You looking at it? I'm looking
Demarcus
at it.
Robinson got paid. You know,
No.
come on, come to the cat. You want to get paid?
Go be
Come
a
to the
cat.
Cats Bros.
Come be a cat.
Come be a cat.
But no, I mean, the biggest thing like that was a solidifier for me about because I knew like the kind of number that I had in mind for like Trent because we were saying this before the season started. What was like the number of like a general like market for like Trent McDuffie if he got an extension? It was around the 25 mark. So when I saw it, when I kind of joked with DMac, when I saw, and I'm really not trying to shit on him, bro. When I saw JC Horn get $25 million, this man ain't played a full season in like 2 years. And he got $25 million. If y'all know football, and again, I tell Country this all the time. Shout out to Kingdom Cast. Some of y'all like football. Y'all don't watch football. There's a difference. You just like to watch the highlights and the clips. We try to give you more information in a respectful manner. When you see J.C. Horn, who struggled to stay on the football field for 4 months straight, get $25 million, what do you think Stingley, Sauce Gardner, Trent McDuffie, who's another one, Christian Gonzalez, what do you think these guys are going to ask for? So when I see $30 million, or reportedly, as we just broke down, the allegedly 89 guarantee for Stingley, that's not a crazy market compared to what his fellow guys in his class or his age group are playing at. Stingley proved he was one of the best corners, if not the best corner in football last year. People will argue PS2, they'll argue McDuffie. All guys are in that conversation as well. But when you see a guy like the guy who sticks, when you got that picture and everybody got their hand in the group and they got the wooden hand off the meme, JC Horn, you the wooden hand. You don't belong in here, buddy. That's no disrespect to your game. He's a talented corner, but you can't stay on the field, bro. So when we talking to these other 4 guys who stayed on the field, who produced, there's a reason why they're asking, and Stingley got his money. So the fact that people were even on the timeline going crazy, DG, did y'all not watch what McDuffie and Stingley did this year? I'm not surprised at all about what Stingley's getting, and I'm not going to be surprised at all about what McDuffie signs for because it's well earned and well deserved. That number of 29, anywhere from 25 to 30, is not a crazy market. I wanted to be closer to 25, me personally, and I hope VJ works with them as well. But realistically, those numbers are not crazy based off what we just saw from those guys this offseason for sure, or this past season.
Especially for an all-pro corner,
like bro, these are guys multiple time All-Pro.
Yeah,
McDuffie been first and second team, so. That's with and without Snead. So the price of the brick going up. Matter of fact, hold up. Wait 1 second.
Hey.
What I always say, DG. The cost of the brick going up, man. Trent McDuffie been balling. Y'all keep my thing is like DMac, you can't argue and then tell me he's arguably the best corner in the league, and then you don't want him to get his money. We did this with Chris Jones. Every time it's time for somebody to get why do y'all do that? When it's time for somebody to get paid, you want to belittle them and say, "Why do you?" Well, you don't. Shut up.
Now he sucks.
Now he ain't that good.
Terrible.
You were just calling on the best corner in the league 2 months ago. Now it's time to get paid. He has some deficiencies, CJ. He's kind of short. You know, he gives up a couple touchdowns here and there. So we really shouldn't give him this much money. Why? So he gives up a touchdown or 2, but all the other times when don't nobody catch the ball on him, what about that? One of the lowest completion percentages for QBs in the league. What about that? So y'all why do we do this every summer when somebody gets paid? But stop
the money coming out their pocket.
Man, acting like you gotta pay it. If they want to pay them, pay them. You acting like you the one that gotta pay. You already buying them tickets anyway, so you need to be grateful. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, the McDuffie situation. I already said it. I think the Chiefs are in a good spot with it because you still have. We're going into his 4th year.
Mm-hmm.
4th year.
2, 3,
you got
4,
the 5th year option as well. It's 2 years in between of you really getting to the point where you're in the danger zone of him leaving KC or anything. And you know for sure he's not leaving KC without reaching them getting some kind of either assets for him or paying him, which I think he ultimately gets paid. So it's what V's is showing you. He's willing to pay ascending players. So if I was a fan, I wouldn't be too worried about it.
Yeah, I would want to be able to bring him back and extend him from that standpoint. I just wanted to see what those figures were going to end up being for Stingley because that's
a fact, Mo. Put it on a shirt.
He
put it on a shirt, Mo.
What are you doing? He guarded me. He won't let me catch the ball.
Hey, that boy is locked up in hell.
He won't let me catch the ball.
Had a hissy fit on the sideline, D-Mac. Like this.
Yeah.
That was funny. Pay Trent McDuffie, and I personally, as we get into the summer, I would just pay him a little bit more than what they've just paid Stingley because of the parameters of that deal makes sense for what we're looking for. Keep that fourth year, a little bit of an extra raise. Pay him off that fifth year. Give him a little bit more than Stingley, and I'm perfectly fine with that from that standpoint. Yes, do keep your great players as they come.
That's a credit towards your organization. You found the talent, they performed, you developed them, and you pay them. That's what you're supposed to do.
It's just do it as early as possible. But obviously, this is something where you got to bring the agent to the table, and they may
both sides got to agree. That's facts. It ain't just us.
They just didn't want to do so. And that's completely understandable.
Jamar Chase just did this, bro. You think the Bengals wasn't trying to pay him last year? They was like, nah, bet on myself, and he had a triple crown. So shit.
Well, I also think from McDuffie's situation, you kind of want to sit and see what
the market's
guys, what these other guys make first.
That's why the agent may not have come to the market.
Yeah, exactly. Probably said, we'll wait till next year.
Yeah, and ultimately, it's no coincidence that you see the J.C. Horn, who is a good player, a really good player. Obviously, just needs to stay healthy. Get that $25 million, and then what it takes is an extra $5 million on top of that to get what is a somewhat proven good young player on that deal for the Panthers, and then what it takes to get an all-pro, corner to actually sign that extension early. So that's why, because Stingley has the all-pro, then McDuffie can just top it a little bit, and that should suffice. And we'll see what ends up happening with Sauce and the Jets. That may change things from that standpoint. We'll watch out for that. John Dorsey, yeah, you're not lying. So
I'm
hold merchant.
I was just
wet shirt.
I was just concerned as far as what they were doing as far as getting this in early, which was the big thing for me. Chiefs quick cap outlook right now. The Chiefs, depending on which side you look at, they have them around $20 million in cap space. Reality situation is that's leaving out the
rookies and signing.
Well, not even the rookies. The Gardner Minshew, the Juju Smith-Schusters, Kareem Hunts, Rob Tunyer, they even though they announced the Tillery signing, we don't have the figures as far as that's concerned. We don't have the Fulton or Bolton. That's funny. The Christian Fulton or Nick Bolton contracts either from that standpoint. So there's a lot to still be filled in as far as the cap space is concerned and what the Chiefs are looking at. Right now, I think that they're looking at probably somewhere in the 10 range, 10 million, 8 million, 12 million maybe type of range, depending on where the cap hits end up coming out. The reality situation is they have a priority as far as Trey Smith getting extended. After that happens, then they'll have plenty of cap space to do whatever they want to for the rest of the summer. And they'll be able to kind of attack things as they come along as well. So cap is in a good place and it certainly is moving forward, which is always a good thing to see as far as the Chiefs cap space is concerned. And they're spending it.
Isaiah's still sitting out there.
Yes. So the next thing I did want to do was kind of run through a roster reset and then have that, we could see if we point out anything specifically that we want to still get after as far as free agency is concerned. We've seen some guys snapped up. Obviously, Willie Gay Jr. ended up signing with the Miami Dolphins earlier today, much to Chiefs Twitter chagrin.
Appreciate you, Willie.
Man, choosing South Beach over the Plaza Lights is wild.
Hey, bro, they said they weren't gonna make a decision until after the draft. He said, "I want to sign right now."
Wow, Gay.
Hey, bro, let him do his thing.
I know we make our jokes about the Saints, but Dolphins have a sneaky, post Chiefs type of thing. Obviously, got Tyreek, got Willie Gay Jr., got Emmanuel Ogbah. They're doing a little post Chiefs type of thing down there. I feel like they had somebody recently as well that I just left out. Was it somebody on offense? I can't remember.
Fuller one down there. I don't know who was down there.
South Beach ain't even like that for real, Willie.
Willie, you just
you
wanted to sign. You could have waited till after the draft, Willie.
Yeah.
You could have waited.
Yeah.
You could have waited.
Yeah. You like the Plaza Lights better. Come on, gang.
Christmas time, come on, bro.
Don't
Black Friday.
Come on. I don't like South Beach like that. It's overrated.
They fans don't even go to the games.
Yes.
They be leaving.
Hey man, let that man live his bad boys.
That boy's at Miami weather. Cool.
Bad boys for life. All right.
Cool. I'm happy for Willie, man.
Shout out Willie, bro. For real.
That's who they got. Of course, they got Matt Dickerson down there.
Matt
In,
Dickerson.
Oh wow.
Oh, our DMac's evil nemesis.
Right.
I knew they signed somebody recently. They saved me from the Matt Dickerson annals of hell.
Oh wow.
I suppose you could count. I suppose you can count almost Chief like 5 times over Odell Beckham Jr. in that as well.
Yeah. All right.
We played like one game for them.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, basically. All right. So as far as the Chiefs roster is concerned, we're going to look at the offensive roster. And again, I tweeted this out, I think maybe a few days ago. They have gotten to a point where it's kind of a roll the ball out type of territory where this team can necessarily operate. If there was a game tomorrow, they can play a game. As far as the roster is concerned, it's in a fair place from that standpoint. And I think that's important really to have in place specifically before the draft. I think that obviously as far as this as far as this roster is concerned, I think that there's probably about 3 areas worth highlighting. Running back room still lacking that level of explosiveness. Obviously, as you look at the depth chart, we know Pacheco has athleticism, but the vision just isn't there. The explosiveness just isn't there to make guys miss. We know Elijah Mitchell has juice to do so, but we don't know, about himself from that standpoint. Kareem Hunt, of course, we know what he brings to the table as far as short yardage. Second place for me, offensive line. Obviously, Kingsley Suamataia, Jalen Moore, unproven as far as the left side is concerned. We know, obviously, Hunter Norzad is going to provide a little bit of a competition for that left guard spot, but that is a place that we just won't know until the games are played how well those guys are going to end up performing in those spots. Even if we think that ultimately it can provide an upgrade, certainly over the last time we saw this Chiefs team, offensive line-wise. And then wide receiver, it feels, even though Juju's back, feels a little thin. Nico Remigio makes up the special teams element of this from the return standpoint. Sky Moore, Justin Ross, still guys hanging around. They obviously signed Tyquan Thornton late. The question I got for you guys is, as you look at the offensive roster, do you see any immediate needs that need to be filled? And then where is really, as far as the draft of getting an impact player, the place that you want to pinpoint looking at this roster?
Yeah.
I mean,
the only spot I really see is running back. They do got to get a little bit more explosive at that position. It would be nice for them to get more explosive at that position for the foreseeable future. Yeah, that's to me is the only really spot. I mean, you could use probably another receiver in the draft if you want to go that route, especially with the looming Rashee Rice suspension. I wouldn't be mad at it, but I don't think it's like a desperate need per se at this point, because I think that you can kind of, depending on where Rashee, how many games he gets, you can kind of roll out there with Juju, Hollywood, and Xavier and feel comfortable with that as long as your offensive line performs well. But yeah, I do believe that the need for running an explosive running back, they got to get a guy that can house one from 60, 70 yards at points at times and just alleviate some pressure from Pat to have to take them down the field every game. So that would definitely be nice.
No, for sure. Definitely. I said this is the class to do it. Obviously, so many explosive running backs and so many options here. So definitely want to get an explosive back. We said earlier, but we get to 31 and Luther's there, I'm taking him. You got 5 rookie control receivers for the next 6 to 7 years with him, Zay, and Rashee. So that'd be an amazing trio. We were excited about what the receiving corps would look like last year when you had Hollywood and 1-4-5 with Rashee and Zay out there. So imagine if we could transition into next year having Luther with a year under his belt, a third-year Rashee and a third-year or fourth-year Rashee. It'd be a third-year Zay at that point. So I'd be super ecstatic for fully transitioning from a Kelsey led dynamic offense to fully 3 receiver, 11 personnel, truly being forced on those guys, and Noah Gray being our lead tight end going into 2026. So I'll be extremely excited for that. Obviously, you can always build depth for guard. Definitely want to give Kingsley some opportunities to have to earn his spot. So definitely want to have more versatility and guys behind there as well. But yeah, the biggest question is just Jalen Moore. Obviously, this isn't the best class, obviously, for tackles. And if you feel that there's a guy that's a developmental project that you want to grab and on day 2, and I know DMac has some of his favorite guys that we like, this class isn't the best. So I think there's a reason why they didn't really reach up. I think that's kind of like a concern for talent level of guys that you really want to move assets for in this class, which we all know to get a left tackle, you have to either be really bad or move assets to go get him. So there's a reason they signed Jalen Moore to give him a 2-year deal, which is really a 1-year deal with an out. If he plays well, I think they'll give him another chance to earn himself and maybe extend him. If he doesn't play well, they can cut bait after year 1. So I think they put he's a younger enough prospect to where if he does play well, you're comfortable enough with the extension, given the fact he was backing up Trent Williams in San Fran. So number one need for me would definitely be definitely trying to lock up that receiver room, because this running back class is just so deep. There's so many options. You really can't go wrong. You just have to get one of them and just pick one and get it right. So definitely be receiver and probably some lineman depth for sure for me.
Yeah, I think that's the sneaky one here as far as I'm concerned, and I've talked about this a little bit more on Twitter, is that as we get in further away from free agency starting, these guys are going to have starting spots as far as, tackle jobs dry up and as far as options from that perspective. And there may be more opportunities to still compete for a job later on down the line. But for the, DJ Humphries, Donovan Smith, Jedrick Wills Jr., Tyron Smith, guys of the world, if you get to a point past the draft and the Chiefs have not drafted a tackle, I think you can add one of those guys back into the room here, or add them to the room as left tackle depth. And that's not to say that I'm concerned necessarily about Jalen Moore, but again, he still is a question mark as far as what he's going to bring from the left tackle situation. And still, even if something were to happen to Jalen Moore, you can't do the Joe Tooney nuclear option, which we shouldn't have done in the first place. And I said that at the time, but that's neither here nor there. I don't think you're going to move Kingsley to left tackle because you've already shot his confidence there at that position. And you're not going to play Ethan Driscoll. So you probably need a tackle from that aspect, even though we think that Wanya can be a serviceable swing. You probably prefer to avoid that situation if you could. So opportunity to add a veteran tackle if that is necessarily going to happen. Yes, Travis Kelce is tight end 1. If that comes to the table, then yes.
KT funny, bro.
Fed tackle. I agree with you guys. Explosiveness in the running back room. You got to take a running back. I expect that to happen. The quarterback room is sneaky fun from Gardner Minshew, Bailey Zappi, and Chris Logan.
Sneaky and Gardner Minshew being in the same sentence is crazy.
I didn't say it referring to his athleticism. I think that's okay. And then, like you guys said, if you can add a wide receiver, I'd be cool with that from that standpoint. If it makes sense.
Uncle Rico is a backup, man. It's crazy.
I could throw a football a quarter mile.
Bet you I could throw a ball over the mountains right now.
Man, back in my prime, oh boy.
Back in my prime. He do look like one of them guys. Back in my
back in my day.
The quarterback room in St. Joe's last year wasn't all that fun to watch. Like, Carson Wentz didn't do anything fun. Gardner Minshew, Bailey Zappi, Chris Logan theoretically should have the level of entertainment, and they're going to actually throw the ball. So that's going to be fun to watch. So.
I could throw a big skin a quarter.
We'll flip over to the defensive side of the ball.
When he threw that thing.
Hey, at least he was accurate.
Hey, he hit him right in the face too.
You mean like Mahomes in the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, just hitting guys in the face and
he said RPO.
Dang it.
He hit him right in the face.
You hit him with the Darrell Williams, man.
Oh, God. That quick release.
I am ready to see the pregame fits from Gardner Minshew. I know that's going to be a little bit fun for people.
Oh, yeah. Gardner going to cook. Gardner going to cook in preseason.
He's going to fit with Mac Hollins. That's his thing.
Gardner going to cook. He going to cook for sure in the preseason. Absolutely.
I've never once seen it from
Gardner Minshew to Sky Moore in preseason. Boy, let's work.
Somebody said today that they were going to delete their account if Sky Moore had 600 yards. And I almost said that I will shave my head bald if he has 500 yards.
5?
500.
Give me 4.
Shit, he might not get 2.
Can he get 1? Shit. Can he get 100?
Give me anything. At this point, can he score?
Ideally, he wouldn't play, but that's besides the point. I'd like to also say, just ease up on Isaiah Pacheco. Like, we all know that we want to draft a running back. He's still.
Don't call my dog shitty. Like, I know he got some deficiencies, but relax. Dang.
He's a solid running back, and this is the same guy that y'all was talking about him being top 15, top 10 after the years prior, and now all of a sudden y'all switch all the way up on his edge.
Just because my dog got hurt don't mean he's shitty. Relax.
I see my dog out there in training getting shifty one time.
Yeah, you see,
yeah.
Give me that work. Yeah. I can catch the ball, Andy.
We're
I'm like that, Andy.
work.
I'm 3 down.
Yeah, run that Texas route to me.
I'm 3 down.
Yeah.
I'm 3 down, Andy. Yeah, I'm like that. Stop playing. But nah, for real, if Quinshon or Trey on the board, yeah, Pacheco, watch out, niggas. Real shit. If Trey or Quinshon on the board, Pop, I love you, nigga. You still gonna play, but if Trey or Quinshon on the board, my guy, hey, bro, come here.
What did Pacheco say that when he first got here? I'm here to take grown man's job.
Well, you know the slogan. Let's work. You know the slogan. Come on.
Can we hold on? Listen.
Hey, bro.
What do y'all want? What's the
That's
kid's
how
name?
a white man runs a football, DG. That's how a white man runs a football.
Yo, hold on, DG, real quick.
Carson still 2.0.
Yeah,
that's how a white man runs a football.
Y'all know the hashtag 2 Americas, like that as that a thing. I feel like that's how this Cam Scatterbo conversation is going.
You either love him or hate him. There's no in between with Cam.
But it's very much 2 Americas as far as I've noticed at this point. To be honest with you, I can't get there with Cam Scatterbo. I'm sure he's going to be a productive player for somebody else. When I look at him, I see AJ Dillon, and I'm good. I don't need that in my life as far as this running back room is concerned. He's not the guy.
I'm cool on Cam Scatterbo. I don't want him, bro.
You got him on the team, and he don't play.
He runs hard, but I'm not drafting Cam Scatterbo, bro.
At least he's a running back. Carson Steele is not, but
yeah.
Still, he's not what I would want as far as
KT. You don't even like Cam Scatterbo like that. That's the crazy part. You saw him play one game against Texas.
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all
saw that one game
like him like that
against Texas, and it was just like, yeah, let's get Cam
Scatterbo. He the one. We gotta get him.
To be fair, there's a lot of Texas defenders that people like, so he must have done something good in that game.
No, he played well. He getting drafted for sure. I'm just saying, I'm not drafting him. That's all I'm saying.
For the second half, he was getting locked up for the first half.
In the second half,
but then he decided to,
no, DG, he
obviously make the game.
He was cooking. He was cooking.
He was.
He threw a touchdown. He threw that shit.
Well, Michael Tabb got cooked on a wheel route. It is what it is.
He threw that shit. He threw that. He was Uncle Ringo for real.
All right.
He threw that shit. I know DG was like this. Fuck.
Bro, I was pissed because we had been shutting him down the whole first half.
Bro, second half
too much. But then the second half came, they was just like, you know what? Let's let Cam Scatterbo go off.
Hey, his dad was in the stands acting a fool, bro. His pops was in the stands going crazy.
Then they drugged the man in for a touchdown, which was illegal.
No, he was cooking that. He was cooking that.
Pick a man up and pull him into the end zone. I'm like, anyway, we're not gonna talk about it.
He was cooking. But I'm still not.
Shout out to Cam.
He's a good player, though. Great player.
Yeah, he's gonna get drafted, but not here.
Nah, I'm cool.
I just wanted to get DG started. Also, that is kind of the funniest thing about the Cam Scatterbo thing. Under no circumstances is he a fit for what we do. We don't run power. We don't run gap. We run zone, and we try and have a running back catch the ball.
Catch the ball.
He's the antithesis of everything that we'd want. I don't know why people are saying it for the Chiefs, but
Carson Steele.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to the defensive side of the ball. I think there's a little bit more in flux. Certainly, obviously, as you look at the trenches. So we all agree defensive line is still a need. Really, I think we agree as far as a veteran sense, and then also as we go into the draft. Two quick questions. One, what do you think is more important to add to this room right now, a defensive lineman or a defensive end? And we'll take it from a kind of a draft standpoint because we'll talk a little bit more about that as far as the free agents are concerned. Defensive line, defensive end, or defensive tackle, defensive end, as far as that's concerned. And then, are you more apt or inclined to say that we need a fourth linebacker or a fourth safety as far as that is concerned and draft priority for you guys?
D tackle for sure. We need to have another pad player next to Chris Jones that can create pressure. And then we got to transition away from Chris Jones, given the fact he's on the opposite end of 30. We know even though he's showing no signs of slowing down, you need to have another option. I think we've kind of put ourselves in position, like I said earlier, for best player available. So if it's a better edge and tackle, then if that's the guy that's a better athlete and a better prospect, and the guy that you have like a true first round, high second round grade on, then you take him. But obviously, I would prefer a D tackle in that spot. And as far as linebacker safety, easily, yeah, right now linebacker for sure. Because obviously Drew Tranquil ain't getting no younger. We signed up Nick Bolton, so I love the fact that we got him locked up. I definitely want to get some more athleticism next to Drew, next to Nick as well. You always want to have a speedy backer to combat what Nick Bolton does. So, and Leo Chenal is kind of like your unique, your joker of all cards as far as on the line of scrimmage, playing DN or three tech if we need to. The kid's a monster, but definitely linebacker over safety for sure. The way the room's built right now.
Yeah, I think they're a little light at the defensive tackle position. And I think it's a need for you to try to address that this year, especially with how deep this defensive tackle draft is. Especially being able to move on eventually at some point from Chris Jones and finding that guy for the future that can replace the production that he gives you in the middle of that defense. Linebacker, I agree as well too. um, I think that's obviously why a lot of people wanted Willie Gay back. I think we've seen how much better this defense is when you have four guys in rotation out there that can do some things for you. So I think that's obviously a need that they're going to have to address in the draft, and I think they feel comfortable doing that. Addressing that in the draft is probably the reason why they didn't feel the need to go out and sign Willie Gay back. So that it obviously shows they feel pretty good about where this linebacker class is as well too. So I think those are two positions. I also think safety could possibly sneak in there, just depending on how you feel about Shamari Connor up until this point. I still think he can be a serviceable safety, but the safety class as well too. I think it's something you could take a peek at, and if a guy you really like falls and drops, like you said, like a Malachi Starks or whatever, if he drops to you, I don't think you can afford to pass them up.
Yeah, I understand it from that standpoint. Obviously, we know the defense again needs to add, I think, a veteran body, and then ideally a guy within the top 100. Certainly, as far as the defensive line class is concerned, I think edge is a sneaky thing. Really comes down to how the Chiefs feel about Felix Anudike-Uzomah. I think that's a massive piece of this. Do they have confidence in him? And if they do, then maybe they feel like edge is a little bit further down the needs list. If they don't, then obviously, in addition to the pressure to bring back Charles Omenihu, it brings it up the needs list. As far as as far as linebacker versus safety, ideally, I think the options for a linebacker are a little bit more prevalent for the Chiefs' operating space right now. I think from that standpoint, so I'd probably lean towards drafting a safety more than a linebacker. But look, we know the Chiefs are always going to have their druthers, and they have the picks to kind of get the safety late if they choose to go that route from that standpoint. So we're going to do a little bit of a roster reset as we stand here. So real quick, just going through it as far as the pending free agents are right now. I mean, I think we kind of agreed, the opportunity to add maybe a veteran left tackle later on. Obviously, a fourth linebacker, fourth safety could be a question mark, and obviously defensive line depth as well. Anybody out there that you guys have any inkling to try and bring in from that standpoint, as far as the free agents that are still available as we get into really the third and fourth waves of free agency?
I think DJ Humphries could still be an option just because of him being last year. Obviously,
I'm cool. I'm cool with DJ coming back for sure.
yeah. Oh God, I forgot his name. He was here last year too. Donovan Smith. Donovan Smith could be an option as well.
If he's available, for sure.
Bring in just to create some kind of, I guess, a little bit of competition on that left side for Jalen Moore. Has some depth, guy, veteran guy. I think they'll probably tend to lean more to DJ Humphrey since he was here last year, and I wouldn't be mad at that. There's nobody else out there that I'm like wildly wanting them to kind of take a peek at or whatever. Obviously, I think you are probably going to get one or two more signings after draft. The Minihue deal, if that's in place, I can see that happening before the draft. But I don't know. I don't know where they're at with Charles Minihue at this point or whatever. It kind of seems like they may be in or may be out, but we'll see. If he's not here, I wish him all the best. But that'd be the only guy right now that I would be targeting before the draft.
Oh, yeah, Charles is the main one for sure. Another depth piece after the draft would be like I like Isaiah Simmons. He could easily be that Willie Gay role. Crazy athletic, fast athletic, speed. A guy that could use for blitz packages. You want to use him on dime third downs, and if you want to go big nickel, whatever the case may be, he can do those certain things as well, especially in coverage. He's played in so many different systems, a lot of blitz heavy schemes. He's played some roles where he's had to play down box safety or he's had to play 2-down linebacker as well. So I think he'd be a perfect guy to bring in on a cheap veteran deal. He gets to come back home, play in front of his family as well, hometown kid. So I think he'd be another guy, and he fits the age range too. For anybody you want to add in, if he plays well here, maybe you extend him as well. So I know I would love to bring in Isaiah. I've been trying to get him in the Chiefs uniform for a while. So the fact that we have that spot available, it kind of makes sense, and he can fill that athletic role for us as well. So yeah, Isaiah would be crazy. Him and Spags on third down, good luck. Especially how he can run. He can still run. So Spags loves speed. So.
That's a chaos agent for sure. And that's really what I would look for as far as a veteran fourth linebacker signing would be in that Isaiah Simmons type of thing. Just somebody that's athletic that you can coach up a little bit and use in very specific situations. I think he could be useful from that standpoint. And obviously, moving on from a guy like Justin Reed, if you need a little bit of hybrid, bigger body as far as a box safety type of role, that is obviously something Isaiah Simmons has experience doing. And probably could feel okay if you had to from a depth perspective.
For sure.
Standpoint. You mentioned left tackles. I still think you could do a veteran wide receiver if the right one kind of comes to play from that standpoint. I don't think you're going to get a Stephon Diggs or Amari Cooper big name from that standpoint. I do think that a guy like Tyler Lockett, because of some of the similar characteristics that he brings to Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy from a veteran presence standpoint, I think could be useful. And then also for depth purposes, he's kind of if you look at Rashee Rice and as what he is, and then Juju's kind of the depth piece to insurance from that standpoint. Tyler Lockett, even though obviously he's lost multiple steps, could be that from a Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy standpoint as far as stretching the field. So I think there's still room there. And obviously we talked about the linebacker and safety rooms. I think that Charles Omenihu is really going to be the signing that you may see before the draft. It's based on what Nate Taylor kind of hinted at on Only Weird Games. It sounds like it's probably going to be something that's going to continue to drag on, maybe even past the draft, and we'll see how that goes. But from that standpoint, outside of that, I don't think you're necessarily going to see too much movement, as the Chiefs are going to kind of use this time to continue to try and find value and get Trey Smith done. I think is the biggest thing that they're going to try and get done before the draft. Real quick, I did want to show this because we put up a few polls before we go in and get to our mock draft of the day. Rolled a few because I thought they were kind of interesting. Decided to say who you happiest is back in Kansas City. I'm personally happy for Hollywood Brown because I like Hollywood Brown. Obviously, Trey Smith ended up winning out. Kareem Hunt and Nick Bolton bringing up the rear as far as that was concerned. Roll back to this one. There we go. Which former Chief do you want to see come back to Kansas City the most? Even though Willie Gay Jr. made a strong push, Charles Omenihu ended up on top as far as that was concerned. Juan Thornhill and Mike Pennell very far down. Juan Thornhill signed somewhere. Where did he sign? I can't remember. It wasn't
Pittsburgh.
Shout out to Juan Thornhill, man, being able to get himself a job out there. Also, is a kind of a personal one that I wanted to ask as far as which outcome for the offensive line would you wanted to see in front of Patrick Mahomes, which is Kingsley Suamataia at left tackle, or Zeitler at left and Kevin Zeitler at $9 million for left guard, or more for $15 million and Kingsley Suamataia at left guard. I didn't ask you guys this, but you guys have a choice between these two.
More and Kingsley for me.
Yep.
I'm an advocate of Kingsley at left tackle, so that's why I chose that.
I think they have the option as like an emergency, but I think for now,
Yeah, no. I did. Yeah, it's clear which way it's going to go, and I understand it from that standpoint. And then the last one was, which vet would you like to see Brett reach sign to Kansas City? Put some bigger name guys on here. I don't think necessarily any of these guys, but Humphreys is realistic. A lot of people like Zadarius Smith, who give the Lions some good snaps, wouldn't be my personal favorite.
He was able to stay on the field, so I'll give him that. But that was my biggest question last time about us.
Right. I personally would say Justin Simmons because that would be awesome.
Yeah, if it's between those four, it's easily Justin. But the dude that picks off Patrick Mahomes every time he plays him. Yes, add him to our roster. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's it as far as those polls are concerned. Do make sure you be on the lookout for Kingdom Cast. We're going to continue to put some polls up throughout the offseason as we get further and further into it. Anything else that we needed to get to, guys, before we go ahead and roll on with the mock draft?
Zadarius Smith is disgusting.
we need bodies, DG. We just need bodies, bro.
Hey, if this was 3 years ago, cool.
For sure. And see, then I didn't want him because he was coming off the back surgery. That's why I was like, no.
But now, let that man be Cash Doll's boyfriend.
He really did Cash Doll?
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't.
I didn't know that. That's funny. She knew how to pick him.
As I said, as soon as she broke up with the other guy, then her new guy is unemployed now. So it's crazy. Left the rappers and went to an unemployed NFL player.
That's funny.
Nah, Zadarius will obviously fall. He'll get signed somewhere. He's too good of a veteran not to. But I wouldn't want him here. It's just I think he's what Chuck just said. He's way past his prime.
That would literally be just a body. You're not expecting him to do anything and produce.
Yeah. That piece, if they wanted to bring him in, I'm not gonna be like bad about it or anything, but I just don't see the need for it. 3-4 years ago, it would have been nice.
3-4 years ago. So, and obviously we've kind of moved past the whole old vet edge being here. Shout out to Terrell Suggs, but we'll see if we get back to that.
T-Sizzle,
man.
You can't tell me that AFC Championship game he didn't have his Chiefs Super Bowl ring in his pocket.
He definitely did.
He had it was in there somewhere. It ain't no way you come to a game and you only got one ring from the Ravens. Yeah, I know. He took it off before he stepped on the field. He's like, "Let me take this off real quick."
It was so funny how much they did just to lose that game.
He came out there.
He was woo.
Yeah, I know y'all about to lose, right?
They pulled out all the stops and
Everything, man.
Everything, bro.
Everything. The whole smorgasbord.
Yeah, really.
Still lost.
No, Trey, I'm not talking about Molly Tulupo, but shout out to him for getting another contract. So out, yo.
What?
Hey, yo.
All right, mock draft season. Let's see.
Well, all right.
Mock draft, baby. Let me pull this up. Good Lord, Trey,
what's wrong with you, bro?
Trey getting out of line.
All right.
Oh, man. If only we taped what happens before. So we obviously have this. Quick question, because this has gotten way too much conversation, but I think it's interesting. If you're the Giants, how much are you panicking if quarterbacks go 1-2? I don't think you're gonna have a quarterback next year.
Well, they're gonna be blowing up, bro. They like, hey Russ, you wanna come in? They're gonna be blowing up Russ.
Very much so. Just because of where you're looking at as far as the free agent quarterback. Look, if I'm the Giants, I think I gotta do whatever I can to get the one to make sure Cam Ward is in New York.
It sounds like the Titans.
They sweet on Cam for sure.
All right,
that's what it sounds like. Sound like he may be the guy.
We'll see.
And if that happens and the Browns determine they want Sanders, man, the Giants gonna be
sitting here like,
Was Cam? Well, Cam was in Cleveland this week, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yep. Mm-hmm. He took a visit out there.
They had Russ come in for a visit, then they did the Cam John. So.
Bring in Russell Wilson for a visit. It's disgusting. That's just nasty. But okay, Cleveland.
Amazing father.
Hold on. Oh, wait a second. Did y'all see that name that flashed across the top?
Do it again.
Hold on a second.
Who went?
Hold on a second.
Luther's still there.
Let me. It's none of these names, by the way. We got to get further over.
Damn, Mecca went down early.
Okay, so I'm fairly certain there's a quarterback here, and I was just
Loveland, McMillan.
Loveland, what's that, 7?
Who he catching the ball from?
That is high.
Boy. Kyle McCord? What the? Who the hell by Kyle? And they taking it at 3? What?
Brother, I was when I saw that, I was like,
I wasn't even looking.
Listen, if this happens, I might turn off the draft.
Bro, he about to tell Mama, you can retire. Mama, you ain't got to work no more.
If Kyle McCord goes
number
3,
3, Jesus Christ,
the draft is in shambles.
yeah, that'd be nuts.
Jalen Milroe may fuck around, go first round. That should happen.
Did y'all hear the lady, the she's a Cleveland Browns podcaster saying that she would trade back into the first round to get a Tyler Show or whatever?
Yeah, Tyler Show.
Drafting 2 quarterbacks. I was like,
you dummy.
I mean,
get him on day 3.
A bunch of quarterbacks before.
You big.
Why not just take multiple of them to run?
Chuck said, "Start it off."
Just start over.
Start it over.
Start
Yeah, Kyle McCord being at 3. That's
Start.
I was not ready.
Chuck said, "Start it over. Run it back."
I was not even.
Kyle McCord at 3. I've never seen.
I wasn't even close to prepared to see that flash across the top of the screen.
Jesus Lord.
Kyle McCord at 3 is wild.
A kid that couldn't even keep his job at Ohio State, is all of a sudden about to be a number 3 quarterback. Jesus Lord.
Look, oh my God.
Did it happen again?
They did it again.
Are they just rolling the dice on any quarterback?
Dylan Gabriel, what the? They just picking anybody at this point.
Oh yeah, we gotta go to a different.
We gotta do a website. This website bugging. Dylan Gabriel and Kyle McCord going top 5 is crazy.
Let me go to. There's no way that just happened.
This website never sponsoring us. They're gonna block us.
Running back.
What y'all laughing at?
Dylan Gabriel at 3 is even more wild.
That's worse.
That's crazy. Was this a okay? Was it? I think this was. It may not have been. It was. Yeah. So this was a draft that I did earlier. Apparently, Pro Football Network, which I can press the restart button here. They have a new feature where you can do multiplayer and have like people join. Like that, which I think is pretty cool. I think that's something that as we get close to the draft, we'll try and use and have some fun with. 7 on there. What y'all think about? Maybe we do like a first 3 rounds, maybe first 2 rounds. I bring my guy Manny on, and we can do some fun. We've done a lot of PFF, so that's why I'm trying to switch it up a little bit.
I've seen some wild ones on PFF too.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. All of these guys are gonna have boards that are different. PFF obviously has their own board versus the public and the ADP from that standpoint. And you're also going to have all these guys that are trying to catch up to where the teams are actually going to be grading these guys. And ultimately, we know the draft is a crapshoot as it is. So these guys can have all manners of ranges of where they're going to go as far as fit is concerned. So obviously, I'm not taking any of these. But now for me, in this draft, as far as 31 for the Chiefs, we've seen Luther Burden go. I guess the Patriots traded up to go get Luther Burden, which would be a good idea for them. The Bills decide that they won't allow Emeka Booker get to Kansas City.
Not this time.
Y'all not getting this time.
We gonna get a receiver this time.
Yeah. Josh Simmons is going off the board. I believe there's no other tackles that we would just get. Well, I guess Ursary would be considered, and Josh Conley Jr. as well. For me, this would be easy. It would be Walter Nolan.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's the way the board falls, Walter.
Him and Chris next to each other. Let's roll.
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and go with Walter Nolan here.
And he a down savage, baby. Stop playing. 63 to 77. Yeah, too far. Nope.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Nope. Yep. All right.
I could be talking to 66 to 77 for the right.
Yeah, 60 for sure.
What's next, Brady Cook? Look, Trey, if we hit that random button enough times, we might have got Brady Cook at 3 because they weren't even picking Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe. Good Lord, that was something. Okay, so next up here, obviously we took D tackle early on to start out. As far as offensive tackle is concerned, I'm going to go with a no. We check tight end. Obviously, Mason Taylor is there. Wide receiver, Ayo Manor is there. Jalen Noel, Tez Johnson. Neither of those guys are probably going to end up being fits. Jalen World's a little bit bigger.
It's Cam Williams. It's a hell no.
Tez Johnson, he's too little.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, he's too little. Can't do the Tez Johnson thing. Running back, Caleb Johnson, very good zone runner from Iowa. Christian Junkins, violent runner from Iowa State. And then you get into the DJ Giddens, Scatterbo, Tootin kind of tier as far as that's concerned. Where did
Trey go?
He must have gone a little bit earlier. Wasn't even going to ask about Trey. I was going to ask about my guy RJ Harvey, who he's
I'm about to say he ain't gone.
That's not his ranking. I promise you guys. You probably you could take that one off, and that's probably the floor of where he's going to end up being picked. So that's the running back as far as that's concerned. Defensive side, still got some options. I like TJ Sanders. Alexander in the second round makes more sense to me. Collins, Omar, Norman, Lott, guys that we've kind of looked at a lot. Edge, Ivy. I like Josiah Stewart so much, but he's not a fit. And Jordan Birch, again, a little bit further down the board. Linebackers are a little thin. They'll start Stutzman, you guys, CJ, and obviously I like Chris Paul Jr. a lot. And then Darian Porter, as far as cornerback, and Makuba is also there. So anything that you guys kind of stick out as what you guys want to go with?
I'd probably go Quinshawn. He's the only dude I really love right here. Everybody else, I'm kind of cool.
Spags, just give us a speed rusher. Just one.
Yeah,
just one time. Just do it.
Kennard's sitting right there.
What? Can I get a guy that can just,
or even a situational guy,
be a NASCAR around the edge? One time.
No, Trey almost got taken.
For me right here, what's it, corner? Sorry, can you
Darian Porter, Denzel Burke, Kobe.
Yeah, a little too high for me for Kobe or Burke. Porter is kind of more of a.
We got 66. Don't forget, so we picking again.
Yeah,
this is like our back to. But that's why I say I go Quinshawn if he's here. Emmer Trey right here. I'm taking him.
Yeah, it's probably running back for me.
So we get to go here in 3 picks. So
he might not be there.
He definitely ain't gonna be there after 63.
I think based on the board, I could be talked into Daniel Porter. I could really be talked into doubling up at D tackle. Given we took Nolan probably a little bit more to TJ Sanders from that standpoint. But all things considered, I'd probably lean towards the running back from that standpoint because, again, I don't think we're going to tackle. I think that's the next biggest need. Wide receiver hasn't fallen the right way. I like Mason Taylor, but I'm probably going to lean towards Junkins a little bit from that standpoint. And so I would go towards Junkins. I think we're all in agreement there. And then we're going to roll on to this pick 66. The Niners want to trade back to 75 for a third. I kind of like that option. Or we can go back to 67 for a fourth.
Next year.
Yeah. I don't mind.
I mean, I don't mind going back a pick just to pick up a fourth, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't.
That's just one player. Let's do that one.
Because then you have 2 fourths. And
You're getting you got
next
pick,
year.
yeah, for sure.
With 3/4, including ours.
Yeah, because we got the extra one. Yep.
Yeah, so I like that idea. That's good ammo. So
I'll do it.
That one. The Bills want to go back for
126. Not terrible. Not terrible. Not terrible.
I would think about it.
I think about it because 126.
Let's hide it for right. Well, we'll reject the other one and we'll hide the other one. Just kind of look at the board.
Yeah, Chargers get at it better, but this one,
See how we feel about the board right now. So in the time, Darren Porter went to the Eagles. Cameron Williams,
Caleb Johnson left. Yep.
Cameron Williams went to the Eagles. Darren Porter went to the Ravens, and Caleb Johnson went to the Chargers, which is kind of interesting. It's not necessarily what the Harbaugh
Chargers. That's what I'm saying. What they need to do.
It's not necessarily. I think the system fit that I would probably pick out for Caleb Johnson, but it'll still work. All right, so we can move off for running back. Wide receivers are the same. Tight ends the same. Defensive tackles also still the same. If we want to double up there, edge is still the same. Linebackers really still the same. We've just lost Porter as far as corner is concerned, and Makuba is still out there as well. How you guys feeling about this? Anybody standing out and would make you may not want to trade back? I think that's a good place to ask.
Nah, because I think if you really wanted Makuba, you could get him later too.
Sure. Yeah, we only go into 70, so it's only 3 players. So
yeah, like Chris Paul Jr. as well down there, but I think you can get him later too.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with moving back here.
Wouldn't mind it either.
I'm cool with accepting that as well.
We do business with the Bills again. All right, now y'all wild and relax.
Probably. Yeah, all right. Quick call on my phone.
Quit begging.
So the Bills came up for Barrett Carter, linebacker from Clemson.
Y'all need it because y'all just cut. No, you didn't cut. You cut down his deal.
Yes, Sanders go to the Raiders, and Ayuk goes to the Ravens. So still got your pick. Still can go Makuba. Still can double down on defensive tackle either with Collins, who's a little bit more of the run stuffer. Darius Alexander, more of the penetrator. I would pair it more so with Collins, given the fact that you took Nolan with that first pick as far as fit is concerned. We talked about it. Linebackers, those guys are still there. Bakuba is still there. I think it's still probably too early for any of these corners. DG, you can chime in and correct me if you feel different.
Yeah, it's for all those guys. I feel like it's a little bit too early. Those guys are mostly day 3 or third round. Third round. I feel like it's still a little too high for any of them.
Yeah, I really do like Birch, and he may end up going off the board before we can get there in the third. But I'd probably still opt to wait from that standpoint as well. On offense, this could be a place. I know, obviously, it's 136. It seems like I could see it as far as Charles Green is concerned. If they really like it, I do like it from that standpoint. Logan Brown probably a little bit later on from that aspect. I don't like really any of these other tackles. Still got the tight end options as far as Mason Taylor, Helm, Arroyo, Ferguson. Any of those guys, Arroyo, a little bit more of that receiving upside than the end-line option. Taylor more so safe, I should say. Helm and Ferguson a little bit more, I would say, receiving tight ends, but, limited ceilings as well. Wide receivers the same. I do like Jalen Royals. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to pick him either. So what do you guys think as far as this is concerned?
I'll double down on D-line.
Yeah, I probably just for the need of it. It'd be between Collins or Alexander for me.
Mm-hmm.
Probably lean more Collins just because of I think you got the pass rusher you need now. You kind of need somebody to help stop the run as well too. So Collins can give you a little bit of pass rushing upside as well too.
Yeah. Country said double up as well.
Yeah, I think doubling up here makes a lot of sense. I think it just, especially when you pair Collins with what Nolan brings to the table.
Exactly. And you put that with Tillery, that's a nice rotation. Bring Charles back, we'd be really good up front.
Yeah. I think we're
Quick call on my phone. Leave me alone, Jim Harbaugh.
Got a home gym.
Right
tight
before.
end.
God dang it, this would have been a good time.
My
So,
guy
but-
Birch is still on the board. We have Durian Strong from Vodtech as well. Safety, I think, has been properly picked over from that standpoint.
For sure.
Like you said, Strong, Bryant still out there as well. Jacob Parrish, who is a little bit more of a slot guy from that standpoint. Stutzman still on the board, as CJ Saley loves him. Wide receiver, I like Royals a lot. I think that would, because I like Birch, but the fact that you doubled up a defense tackle, I think you're okay. I think I'd probably lean towards Birch, even though Ferguson's is good as well. And again, if you want to go Grant here, I can understand it too. So my vote would be Jalen Royals from Utah State. He fits what we kind of need within the wide receiver room, a little bit more of a bigger body as well. Good route runner, good hands, has some juice to all three levels as well. So that would be my pick. Do you guys have anybody that stands out from that standpoint?
To me, at this point, it's either Stutzman. Yeah, Stutzman or Royals is I'm good with.
Either one for sure.
Birch wouldn't be if you wanted to roll that way too. Wouldn't be a bad pick.
I like Fergie here. I don't hate it, but the fact that most of the tight ends is Arroyo still here? Or is he going to?
Royals gone.
Damn.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, it'd probably be either Stutzman or Fergie for me.
Sorry, who'd you go for? My bad.
Royals. I said Royals or
Stutzman.
Birch, or Stutzman. Those would be my three guys that probably be on my board right at this point.
And CJ, you said Fergie or
Fergie
or Stutzman. Yeah. Sneaky thing that people haven't really talked about a lot, as far as, in my opinion at least, the fact that Drew Tranquill is kind of on this deal that the teams can get out of if they want to. And that's not to say that he necessarily didn't live up to the deal last year from that standpoint. I think that it was fine. And early on in the season, it was kind of tough. But ultimately, you can get out of the deal next year for a 1.5 dead cap hit. So drafting a linebacker may not be the worst thing in the world from that standpoint. Mm-hmm. I think the fact that you've doubled up on linebacker, or I should say at the defensive line, I think that's okay to pass on Birch. I think that generally speaking, I would probably prefer Royals to Stutzman, but I could definitely be talked into Stutzman from that standpoint too. And it was we got 126 and 133. Yeah, so we'll see if we can get a different type of wide receiver maybe a little bit later on to add into the group. So we'll roll with Stutzman from Oklahoma and have him take over for Drew Tranquill after.
Boomer!
To this year. No, I'm good. I don't need to future pick. So after that, we've gone to 126, the thing we traded for. Obviously, wide receiver has been well picked over. I would say tight end also has as well. Unfortunately, Logan Brown did end up going off the board too. There's some running backs still there as well. I think this could be a really good DB slot. Obviously, Mello Dotson from Kansas still out there. Jamar Hubbard's a little bit undersized. I like Noah Williams a lot from Cal. Safety, I don't know if any of these guys stand out to you, DG.
Malachi Moore would be the guy for me. Moore probably, and then if you go back to the corners, it's probably the Dotson, Williams. I like Jabbar Muhammad, but I think he's a little undersized.
Right.
Yeah, so it's probably between those two guys. Moore, Dotson, Williams. That's what I like.
How do you feel about Moore fitting into? How do you feel about Moore fitting into this room? As far as the skill set that he brings to the table with.
Great, because I think he'll eventually take Brian Cook's job. Just off the fact that he's a true free safety. A guy that can really play center field for you. Something that I think the Chiefs kind of haven't had. I know that Brian Cook kind of does that a little bit, but I just think Moore's got a little bit more juice to his game. And I think he'd be a really good piece for Spags to kind of play with. They'd be able to run a lot more single high coverages and trust his range back there. Kind of to me gives you that Juan Thornhill type of player that you had before the Thornhill injury, obviously kind of derailed his career. So.
Yep, I'm not mad at that at all. I'm cool with going Malachi Moore. CJ, you have any other guys you wanted to say to go for instead?
No, anytime we get a good DB late, we value DBs amazing. So if we really want to take them, that's a great value for us. So I'm with it.
And he's a crash out.
And you know how we deal with crash.
And I love a good crash out.
You need a little. Hey, Cam Newton said it best. When you're building a roster, you can't have a roster full of choir boys, and you can't have a roster full of crash outs. You got to have a good balance of both. That's just how it is, bro.
But I think he's a good crash out. I think he's just a competitive kid. It's been more on the field crashing out than it has been
in between the lines.
Did you just call him one of the good ones?
Yeah, he's a good crash out.
There's a crash out, but it's like he ain't full crazy crash out.
Yeah, he ain't crazy,
He
ain't off the field crazy crash out. He's a competitive kid.
You get a flag every now and then type shit. You know what I mean?
He's one of the good ones. Okay.
Yeah.
He ain't Kyron Lacy. You know what I mean?
No.
We ain't he ain't Pickens. You know what I mean? We ain't that bad.
No.
We over here.
That comes from a good program. I think he learned a lot of him. I just think he's a kid that wants to win. At the end of the day, so.
How do you feel about Billy Bowman, DG?
Billy Bowman.
I haven't watched too much of him. I do. The Oklahoma defense last year was obviously incredible. They had players at every level. In my opinion, they were really good. I have to tap into him a little bit more. Just because me being a Texas fan, it's kind of hard to watch those guys. We stumped a mud hole in them early on in the year.
Mud hole is crazy.
Nuts.
But no, obviously comes from the Venerable system, so I feel like he probably can step in and be a serviceable player, especially at safety. But I have to watch a little bit more of him. I don't want to get up here and lie in there.
I feel you. Okay, so we're here at 133. I didn't get any offers. So for me, looking over this list, again, I think that wide receiver's been kind of picked over as far as that's concerned. Same thing for tight end. Same thing kind of as offensive line is concerned as well. Defense, slim pickings as far as the front is concerned. It's just nothing that necessarily stands out. I know Oladipo. I'll just call him Olu. Olu's had some talk as far as that's concerned. I liked what I saw on tape. Probably be a little bit early for me as 133.
Tyler Batty wouldn't be a bad. What kind of to me it'd be a Chiefs pick.
Mm-hmm.
BYU, baby.
I was gonna say not just because of the BYU thing.
Oh, it's all because
of his size.
Yeah, he kind of fits what Spags likes at edge, so I could see them going that route, especially if it's this late in the draft as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe fourth round's a little too high for him or whatever. I think he could probably be a more of a later on day 3 kind of guy, but or you can get greedy and double up at corner and go get Noah Williams.
Yeah, so that's the thing for me. What it would come down for, to me, it would be a double up position. Either you double up with corner, or it's double up with DB, I suppose, because technically, that's a little bit more of a safety. Which I think that you could draft a corner and a safety in this draft and be fine because those 2022 DBs are coming up on their contracts. Obviously, you mentioned about Cook. Obviously, we know Jalen Watson and Jalen Williams. No, Justin Watson and Jalen Williams. Jalen Watson and Justin. No. Jalen Watson. No, I had it right the first time.
Justin and Jalen.
No, Justin Watson's the wide receiver. Oh my God, I'm driving myself.
You know what he's talking about, guys.
Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams, there it is, Jesus Christ, are coming up on their contracts in addition to obviously Brian Cook. I think you could draft the corner for Noah Williams to go into this room too. 133, I know they have it at 190 here. 133 for me is not too early for Noah Williams. I think that's perfectly fair value. And then the other option, if you had gotten the Thunder of Quinshon Judkins in the running back room. Do you want to add a little bit of lightning as far as a guy like Damian Martinez, who's concerned, who I think is fair, who's solid value as far as 133?
Dylan Sampson right here for sure.
A little bit of a reach necessary for Raheem Sanders or Brashad Smith. Dylan Sampson, who I don't think is going to end falling this far. For Tennessee, who brings a lot of explosiveness and juice, and also like Jordan James as well. So how do you guys feel? Noah Williams, or are we doubling up at running back?
I wouldn't. I mean, for me, I think you could go at running back because you could obviously bring that guy in and have him be a special teams type of guy. Little explosion there, but also if he makes the roster. Hey man, look, at this point, you're getting to the zone of where I don't even know.
I'm not laughing at you, PG. I'm not laughing at you.
Trying to find value.
Yeah. But yeah, I know what you're right.
Yeah, it just
anyway. Yeah. So I probably would look at running back just to get some explosion.
Yeah, it's funny.
Find a fast guy in there defensively. I can see us doubling up at corner too.
Yeah, I can see it going either way, really. I think, maybe you find yourself another corner later on, and you've got the extra ammo as far as the Chargers' extra fourth here, and your fourth, and the Bears' fourth. So you feel like you can draft into the DB room that you assume now. Obviously, going to have Trent McDuffie and Christian Fulton as kind of the head as you move into it from that standpoint. So maybe you feel confident in going away from cornerback in this case, getting it maybe a little bit later on, and going with who I think we would assume probably would be Dylan Sampson as far as this board is concerned.
For sure.
Having him next to, I mean, that pushes probably one of Kareem Hunt or Elijah Mitchell off the roster, but I think you live with that reality, honestly.
Yeah.
Elijah Mitchell's been real, buddy.
We loved you for all of 3 weeks.
You're out of here, bucko.
The running back rankings on this site are kind of out of whack. Obviously, Devin Neal's at 200 plus, and RJ Harvey was in the 190s. That doesn't reflect anything realistic of what's actually going to happen. So now we're here at 251. Obviously, we're into complete Darth Row territory as far as that's concerned. Let's look at the corners.
Yeah, I got nothing on none of these guys.
Let me see.
Is RJ Mickens still
there? Good question.
Is Jimmy Horn or LeJounte both gone?
We'll take a look at the wide receiver. RJ Mickens is still down there. Some people have asked about Kenny Gallup Jr. From Howard. Played really well as far as the back end of the secondary. He can do a lot of things. I think you would find a lot of special team value out of him as well. I'm never going to bother looking at defensive line. Jimmy
Horn, you're a chief.
Is still on the board. We obviously haven't taken a wide receiver this draft. I think that would also make sense. Andrew Armstrong, bigger body, would also make a lot of sense as well. Yeah, I think we're all kind of excited about Jimmy Horn Jr.
I think Country is still available. We gotta relax.
Not in the big chat, boo.
We gotta
come
relax.
on, boo. He said roll three.
Roll three. Yeah.
Ain't no way.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
He picked up his phone and said, "Oh my bad."
Oh my bad.
Baddies I just want to get over with it at this point before y'all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this.
Oh god.
Cut the show.
cut the camera off.
This is what happens when we go over an hour and 30. We gotta stop doing this. So this is the Chiefs mock draft for Tell the Truth this week, man. Walter Nolan, Quinshon Judkins, Alfred Collins, Danny Stutzman, Malachi Moore, Dylan Sampson, and Jimmy Horn Jr. to wrap up the class, and we get the Chargers 4th round pick next year.
A+ draft for me.
Love that draft right there.
Really good draft.
I love that draft. We got 2 deep at almost every 2 D tackles, 2 backs, another safety depth, another receiver depth. Oh yeah, we are set, and we got our linebacker of the future.
Yeah. Like that. Just got to draft some corners next year. I'll be perfectly fine with that reality as well. Oh yeah, definitely get tight end. So All that being said, before we go ahead and get on out of here, we'll of course, pay some bills as far as my banners will cooperate. There we go. Make sure you guys use code True3 for $100 deposit match for Underdog. Hey, March Madness starts tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow.
Yes.
First round games starting at noon, baby. I'm ready to lock in.
Texas up too, DG.
I cannot wait to talk about March Madness, and obviously, we will be having baseball season coming up here, so make sure you guys lock an Underdog for that. I will be having a Stay Skeeby coming out as far as Christian Fulton and Jerry Tillery is concerned. Also, we obviously have our Kingdom Cast playback room, literally playback.tv/KingdomCast. Make sure you guys go over there and check that out. I'll be in there periodically watching some film. Because I think it's a useful way just to let you guys in. If anybody wants to come on and join in the conversation while I do so or ask me any questions, by all means, please do. And we'll obviously be having our draft stuff over there as well. Looking forward to that too.
Whoever want to, obviously, it's
Yes.
obviously baseball season, college basketball season, like DMac says. Obviously, I have some special things in the works that I've been working very hard on for, obviously, Bet the House Discord. Me and DG been working really hard, so I have some news I'm gonna share with him and Chuck and the gang. So y'all make sure y'all tap in with us. Ask any of us for the invite. We'll DM you. We'll get you in the group. We'll get you in the gang. I got some big things in the work for it. So I've been working hard for the gang. So
Let us see. Gonna be looking forward to some money being made, man.
yo,
Anything before we go ahead and get on out of here?
We just went on a 10-2 run, and I'm really mad right now.
now y'all up 5.
Yeah, this is.
I took the over and I took the over in this game. So keep scoring.
Yeah, I want us to lose really bad.
Welcome to my life as a Nets fan
Oh
for the
my
last
God.
3 months.
All right. Yep.
Y'all just some
Now we're
fake
up eight.
winners.
End the
Fake
show.
winners. Get off my camera, you fake winners.
Peace out, y'all. Go Chiefs.
Right.
Go Chiefs.